Hello everyone, this is Clary from Shadow Moon Tarot and I'm recording a response to Anthony's 31 Days of Tarot for 2019. For day 22 the prompt is, where is one place in the world you would love to read the tarot and why? It could be a sacred site, event, mystical shop, anything. Well, I would really like to be in an event, to read in an event, because around where I live there aren't any, and that would be a unique and interesting experience. I also like people's answers in their videos saying that they would like to go to sacred sites where there's a lot of energy, and yeah, that would be cool as well. Um, but because at the moment I live in a house where we are many of us here and the house is not too big, so I don't really get a lot of privacy and I don't have my own space which I can, decorate and do the way I want. My answer to this question is I would like to have my own space where I can decorate it and make it the way I want it, so I can relax and sit and have my privacy and enjoy reading whenever I want. Next one. What is your most sassy tarot deck? What is your most gentle tarot deck? Why did you pick these decks? Right. The most sassy tarot deck I've got is the Deviant Mont. I've got the borderless edition. Everyone knows that this is a very popular and very unique deck. The artwork is stunning and recognizable. And yeah, this deck, it can be harsh sometimes, I would say. I don't think that it's necessarily a dark deck. It can be, but it can also be funny. It makes me laugh at times. But it depends. Like, if you are in that mood where you are vulnerable, this could be really sassy and really harsh. Another deck that I would say is sassy, and you wouldn't think so because it's a religious themed deck, is the Golden Tarot. You would think, oh, this is like religious and so it's soft and like loving and caring and everything, and to an extent it is, but quite often it's not. It will tell you off big time, and I don't know what it is, if it is the expression on people's faces or the coloration or I don't know, but sometimes I find it's like, yeah, like very into your face. It doesn't shy away and it can tell you off big time. So I would classify it as a sassy deck, although it's not exactly what you would think it is. My most gentle tarot deck, well, I've got two. One is this one, the Shadowscapes Tarot. I have the Llewellyn edition and I wish it was a bit bigger because the artwork is stunning and the colors are so nice. But because the size of the card is like a normal tarot size, some of the artwork gets lost. You can't see the details very well. But it's a very nice and caring and friendly deck. It won't shy away from telling the truth, but it will say it in a very gentle way. So this is the first deck in this category. And the second one that I would like to mention is this one, which is the Wheel of the Year Tarot. And this one, again, won't shy away from the truth, but it's soft and gentle, and I don't know if it's because the images are like the colors are vibrant, and like you can see that this is the Five of Cups. It does tell you like about, you can see the despair, you can see the loss, but it's not harsh. It's not um it's not offensive. Maybe is this the right word I'm looking for? I don't know, but it will tell you things in a supportive way. So yeah, I like these 4 readings where you need a hug rather than someone to point a finger and be like really um, harsh with you. To be honest, sometimes this is a good thing as well because you may need it, but quite often when you feel vulnerable, you don't really want to use a deck that will say things like the hard way. So I appreciate both categories depending on the time. Number 25. Do you have any? No, sorry, number 24. What tarot card do you feel is the most misunderstood and why? Well, I think that most people think that the most misunderstood card is the Hierophant because they relate it to tradition and authority and the guy who tells you what to do and things like that. And I don't know if it is because it's my astrological sign association or because it's my life path or because I've always seen it as a teacher or as a mentor. I never had a problem with that card personally. However, for me, the most misunderstood card is someone that I haven't heard many people mention it. But yeah, the Sun. I have a problem with the Sun because most books and little white books and you know all tarot sources say, oh, this is a happy card, this is everything great, this is success, and all rainbows and unicorns. And quite often I would have a difficult reading where everything seems to go wrong, and this card is in the problem position, and I didn't know how to read it. I would like, especially at the beginning. Now it's different, but at the beginning, I was like, happy, problem, I don't know. And it's also that quite often many decks, especially the typical Rider-Waite-Smith, has that Sun with happy, with a naked baby, and it's just like, I don't know. I just didn't know how to interpret it. And even here, like, you can see it. Oh, it's this. They have the tickets, and that's what they always wanted. And yeah, happy, happy. But and that I found out like after researching on the card because I had that problem and I couldn't understand it. And the Tibian moon was the first one that helped me like get the meaning right. The sun can also mean exposure, can mean like seeing the truth, being vulnerable, being naked, transparent. Naked, not, like transparent. And this is from the Wheel of the Year. So it's also about personal power, it's about our vitality, our energy, and that these interpretations help me make sense in my head. how to read this card when it's not meant to be an oh, everything is great card. So that's my answer to day 24. Let's move to day 25. Do you have any tarot self-care rituals that are only for your personal practice? Well, I'm sorry, but I don't really have anything to say about that. So the answer is short and sweet. No. 26. What tarot deck wish you could get into or vibe with, but just can't, and why? Well, for me, it will be this deck. I was looking to buy the Arthurian Tarot, and by mistake, I got this one, which is called the Arthurian Legend Tarot, or Legend the Arthurian Tarot, something like that. And I got it second hand, and it came with a book that was so highlighted, and I just like I couldn't connect with the book. And the reason why I got this deck is because I wanted to get to know the myth better. I wanted to deepen my knowledge about the mythology around this deck, and it didn't happen. Hopefully I'll find a way around it, but for now that's on hold, and yeah, unfortunately so far our relationship is not very close. I mean, the artwork is not bad, but it doesn't really speak to me. I can see I could possibly read with it, but I don't get what I wanted to from that. Not at the moment, anyway. But we'll see. Day 27. How do you pick your tarot decks for reading? I think I rely on my intuition most of the times. I'm not saying, oh, for this I'll use that, and for this theme I'll do this. Sometimes I use what I have a deck that I study, or it's a new deck and I want to try it out, and I will use this for like a week. And sometimes I just trust my intuition and pick whatever I think will read the best for that particular spread or reading or theme or whatever. Day 28. What is your go-to tarot book and why? Oh, I'm really excited about this question. My favorite book is Tarot for Yourself by Mary K. Greer. I love it. As you can see, I've got like a, I don't know if it picks up, but I have a million, what do you call this? I don't know, I can't remember what you call them, but a million of them. And I also have highlights and everything. And yeah, I love it. I use it all the time. I love that you can learn about the tarot, you can learn about yourself. It's packed with exercises. It has the meanings of the cards. It's brilliant. It's a workbook, and it's exactly what it says, a workbook for personal transformation. It's lovely, and if you haven't come across it before, I totally suggest it. It's a must-have. It's awesome. I have no words. Right, the next one. 29. How do you feel about tarot deck modification? Do you draw on your decks, trim the borders, or is this a no-go for you, and why? It's not a no-go. I have edged a few decks and I had trimmed one, but in general I am not heavy on deck modification, and one of the reasons is that I'm thinking, um, what if I don't connect with the deck and I want to pass it on? It may be better not to have chopped the borders off because then it loses some of its value. And also, quite often, I don't. I always see the decks before I buy them. I try to see all the cards if possible. So I won't buy a deck that has a horrible border that I believe it to be like distracting. So normally I don't have decks that I find really annoying and I want to modify them in order to connect with them. For that reason, uh, I'm not too heavy on modification. Also, I don't draw on them and I don't write because many decks are like that. They're not matte, and when you write, um, you can then wipe it off, and I don't like this. And the second reason is that quite often I find handwriting on the cards distracting when I read, so I don't do that either. And that's my answer for number 29. Number 30. Do you carry out predictive tarot readings? Yes? No? Why? Mm, Not often, and when I do, I don't heavily rely on them. In general, I don't believe that the future is set in stone, and therefore I come from that perspective where I think that you need to know the energy, not it can't tell you what will happen. It can also, like, how to explain that? Well, yeah, basically, I don't think that the future is set in stone, and therefore the tarot or the Lenormand or whatever kind of type of divination cannot really tell you what the outcome will be as such. It can only predict to an extent what the energy may be, and then you decide how you are gonna face that. So in general, I don't use the tarot. I guess my short answer would be I don't really use the tarot predictively. I normally use it for psychological and personal development, like mostly to understand myself or to understand the situation, and for inspiration as well. And that leads us to day 31. What questions do you most often ask the tarot, for yourself and for others? Well, for others, it depends on the others. For myself, I would normally ask, what do I need to know? Or what's the best way to deal with something? Or what do I need to avoid? Um, and I think the most asked question is advice. What can I practically do for whatever I'm reading? Whether it's a challenge or an opportunity or whatever. Yeah, it's most often it's the advice on how can I do that better or how can I avoid something. Well, that was for me, and yes, we've done it. 31 days of tarot. Thank you, Anthony, for the challenge. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Much love. Bye.